millennia, the human mind has been the last bastion of true privacy. A sanctuary where thoughts, fears, and dreams reside, utterly shielded from the outside world. But what if this sanctuary, this deeply personal inner space, were no longer yours alone? What if the intricate dance of neurons, the very essence of your consciousness, could be accessed, interpreted, perhaps even influenced, by forces beyond your control? The future we once imagined in science fiction is rapidly becoming our present. A silent invasion. A new frontier in what it means to be truly private. The age of brain hacking is upon us. Today, we possess rudimentary tools. Electroencephalography, EEG, captures the electrical ripples across the scalp. Functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, observes blood flow, a proxy for neural activity. These methods offer glimpses, broad strokes of the brain's complex symphony. We see patterns linked to emotion, memory, decision-making. But these are like hearing a blurred orchestra from afar. Imagine moving closer. Closer still. Until each instrument, each note, each individual thought, begins to resolve with chilling clarity. This isn't just observation. It's the beginning of a deeper, more intrusive decoding. Enter brain-computer interfaces. BCIs. For years, the focus has been on augmentation. Prosthetic limbs controlled by thought. Restoring communication for the paralyzed. Noble pursuits, empowering individuals. But the same technology enabling a quadriplegic to type with their mind, to navigate a cursor by pure will, can also serve a different purpose. It's a two-way street. A direct conduit between consciousness and machine. What if that conduit, designed to send commands out from the brain, could also be used to send signals in? To extract information, or worse, to implant it. Early BCI research focused on motor cortex activity, the signals that command movement. When you decide to move your arm, a specific neural pattern fires. We can now decode these intentions, often before the physical action begins. But the brain is far more than a puppet master for the body. What about the thoughts that don't translate into immediate action? The fleeting idea. The subconscious bias. The suppressed desire. Can the patterns preceding a motor command also precede a verbal thought? Or an unspoken belief? The shift is from predicting action to predicting cognition. The true breakthrough emerges when we move from mere intention to internal monologue. Researchers are now developing systems capable of reconstructing speech directly from brain activity. Not from muscle movements in the jaw or tongue, but from the neural signals in the speech motor cortex. The brain prepares words, sentences, before they are uttered. Imagine these nascent thoughts, these silent conversations with oneself, becoming audible to an external listener. Your internal voice, once exclusively yours, transformed into data. A spoken word without speaking. A thought, no longer private. And it's not just language. What about images? The landscapes of your dreams, the faces of loved ones, the memory of a place you've never been. Can these visual experiences, processed and stored in the brain, be extracted and reconstructed? Advanced algorithms are beginning to bridge this gap. By analyzing neural patterns, they can generate approximations of what a person is seeing, or even what they are imagining. A glimpse into the very theater of your mind. Your subconscious imagery, projected onto a screen. A window, not into your soul, but into your visual cortex. If a machine can interpret your inner dialogue, reconstruct your visual field, and predict your intentions, the very definition of privacy becomes irrevocably altered. This isn't just surveillance. It's an unprecedented level of access. The question swiftly moves from "can we read thoughts?" to what happens when thoughts can be read by anyone. The human mind, long considered impenetrable, becomes a new vector for attack. A vulnerability. This isn't science fiction anymore. This is the new battleground for control over the individual. But brain hacking isn't just about extracting information. It's also about influence. Neurofeedback, for decades, has been used clinically, training individuals to self-regulate brain states, managing stress, improving focus, mitigating anxiety. A powerful therapeutic tool. But what if this principle is inverted? What if external forces, through BCIs, could subtly guide your brain towards specific states? Not by conscious choice, but by direct neural manipulation. Influencing mood. Shaping opinions. Direct, non-consensual neuromodification. The line blurs between assistance and control. Consider the advertising industry. They track your clicks, your purchases, your social media posts. They build profiles based on your expressed interests. Now, imagine a world where they track your unexpressed interests, your subconscious desires, your fleeting attraction to a product you hadn't even consciously registered. Algorithms, fed by direct neural data, could predict what you will want, perhaps even before you do. Not just targeted ads, but predictive behavioral nudges, custom designed to bypass conscious resistance. The ultimate manipulation. This emerging capability pushes us into an ethical labyrinth with no clear map. Who owns the data generated by your brain? Is it intellectual property? A medical record? A fundamental aspect of your personhood? What safeguards are necessary when the very essence of your being becomes quantifiable, transmissible data? The questions are profound. Our legal frameworks, designed for a world where thoughts remained internal, are woefully unprepared. We are venturing into uncharted territory, with the highest stakes imaginable, the sanctity of the human mind. The concept of consent itself becomes fraught. Can a person truly give informed consent to brain activity monitoring, especially when the interpretations might reveal subconscious biases or health predispositions they didn't even know they had? What about coercion? In certain contexts, employment, legal proceedings, national security, the pressure to voluntarily undergo neural scanning could become immense. The choice to protect one's inner world might become a luxury, or even an impossibility. Where does free will end when your inner landscape is externally observable? Beyond commerce and individual ethics, looms the specter of weaponization. Imagine military applications. Not just enhanced cognitive function for soldiers, but techniques for interrogation. For psychological warfare. Decoding an adversary's intentions or fears directly from their neural patterns. Or, more chillingly, using brain hacking to induce specific emotional states, disrupt cognitive processes, or implant suggestions without their knowledge. The mind itself becomes a battlefield. A new domain for conflict, unseen and unheard. In the corporate world, intellectual property is king. Designs, strategies, trade secrets, all born from human ingenuity. What if a competitor could access the nascent ideas forming in the minds of your top researchers? Or decode the strategic plans of your executives before they are even fully articulated? Brain hacking offers the ultimate form of corporate espionage. Stealing not just data, but the very spark of innovation. The competitive edge would shift dramatically, favoring those with the most advanced, and perhaps least ethical, neural access tools. The line between reading and writing is often thin. If we can interpret brain signals related to memory, could we also, in time, modify them? Implant false memories? Erase traumatic ones? While therapeutic potential exists for conditions like PTSD, the implications are staggering. The very fabric of personal history, the foundation of identity, could become malleable. Who decides what is remembered, or forgotten? What happens when our pasts are no longer solely our own, but editable by external forces? The ultimate form of reality manipulation. As our thoughts become data, does the self itself become digital? Our inner landscape, translated into algorithms and neural network outputs. If an AI can perfectly predict your next thought, your next decision, are you still truly autonomous? This isn't just about privacy, it's about existential redefinition. the boundaries of individual identity begin to dissolve. We move from being beings with private thoughts to entities whose thoughts are, at least in part, publicly accessible or even programmable. A fundamental shift in what it means to be human. One of the most insidious aspects of brain hacking is its potential invisibility. Unlike a physical intrusion or a digital breach, there are no obvious signs, no alarms, no data logs you can easily check. The attack occurs in the very architecture of your mind. How would you even know if your thoughts were being read, your moods subtly influenced, your decisions gently nudged? The lack of tangible evidence makes detection incredibly difficult, fostering a pervasive sense of unease, a constant, nagging doubt about the authenticity of your own inner experience. The speed of this technological advancement far outpaces our ability to regulate it. Current laws struggle to keep up with data privacy, let alone neural privacy. Can we create ethical guidelines, international treaties, or even simply effective consumer protections before the technology becomes ubiquitous? Or will the market, military, and state actors drive its adoption far beyond our collective control? The choice, it seems, is not between brain hacking happening or not, but how, and under whose terms, it will define our future. The private mind, once an unquestioned right, is becoming the final frontier of privacy. A battleground where the very essence of human autonomy will be fought. As brain-computer interfaces become more sophisticated, as our neural signals yield more secrets, we stand at a precipice. A future where our inner worlds are transparent, vulnerable, potentially manipulable. The questions are no longer hypothetical. What will we choose to protect? What value will we place on the sanctity of our own thoughts? And in a world where every thought is heard, who are we, truly?